All right, Brian. Well, was that ringing in your ears last night, the sound of the Halloween Smackdown from Salt Lake City, not your Raycon everyday earbuds?
No, it was my tinnitus, my WWE tinnitus.
I just realized that they're in Salt Lake City for SmackDown, and then they're in Salt Lake City for the Saturday night's main event, same building, two nights. But the poor people that got tickets to this SmackDown, again, they just I know in the early days of television wrestling, they used to show public workouts, and that seemed kind of boring, but people watched them. But they just came to watch them warm up the fucking television equipment for the big show the following night here, didn't they?
And I don't know when in the night it's from, but there's a picture circulating of someone saying they were at SmackDown, and here's like opposite camera side, and it's just a bunch of empty seats. Now, again, it's so much you would think you would notice it, so you don't know when, if it's like, an hour before showtime or whatever. But
Well,
I think, they're doubling down not just on the high prices, but on doing multiple things in one town over a weekend. And, you have to wonder how many people attended SmackDown that are also going to attend Saturday night's main event.
well, and that's the thing. I was trying to remember, and I didn't have time to go look in my books. But if I've been in Salt Lake City, it was only once, and I did every TV taping that the WWE did for almost everyone from middle of 1993 to the early part of 1999. And they didn't used to get a lot of TVs because in the old days when they would route the tapings with house shows and tapings like a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday grouping, you can't route Salt Lake City with much. It's just out there. There's not a lot, comfortably drivable. And I think they need to realize that the population of the town may be, large, but they're depending now, I think they'll find out, on a lot of people that drive 100 miles, 150 miles, maybe 180 miles, the more dedicated people to these TV tapings and live events. And I don't have my Rand McNally within reach without getting off of headset, but Salt Lake City's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So not to knock the town, but they don't have a lot of suburbs. You see what I'm saying? So anyway,
It's a hotbed of decency.
and then there's that. A lot of white people out there, just decent white people. So
And they got a decent SmackDown.
what? No, they didn't. Everybody may have exhibited decency, but it wasn't that decent. So the first thing right off the bat, Tiffany Stratton comes out. She's mad at Jade Cargill. Jade turned on her. They'd showed that highlight. She called Jade out. Here came Aldis instead. No, we can't have physical contact until our match tomorrow night. And this was going to be a theme that all these people are thinking, goddamn, if we don't have tickets for tomorrow night, we should have got them. And then Jade came out in a full body scuba suit. And here came security. The indie guys that do the statue poses and make the exaggerated phony facials. And they wouldn't let Jade through, so Tiffany went to Jade, but a security guard caught her and picked her up, so they ended up staring at each other from a distance until tonight. Or as they said last night, tomorrow night. And that was that whole segment, Brian, wasn't it? Pretty much.
Again, I don't want to start going off on a rant about the same things keep happening on both shows with different people, sometimes the same people, but it feels more and more like a road to nowhere. Okay, this happened again. This is happening again. Oh, I'm surprised the general manager just came out to do so. Just everything is like the same trope that they've been doing forever. And, it's weird that they haven't, I don't know, they got so much credit when they changed the production after Kevin Dunn. When Lee Fitting came in and really upgraded everything.
Well, they're still shooting it a lot better.
Right, but I'm saying Triple H got a lot of credit too.
It's the same milk that's going into the new bottle.
And everyone was raving about Triple H, in part because everyone was happy that it was someone other than Vince, and in part because things were hot. It felt like things were happening, and if you think about like the core period as the Bloodline was taking place, it felt like the big one hasn't happened yet. Like the big thing, it's building to something. Something has to happen. It must be huge what's going to happen. Nothing happened. Solo broke off and had his own bloodline. Jey Uso became a big babyface. Roman disappeared. Nothing happened. And now they're trying to rehash a lot of that, with some things, but nothing happens on these shows. So I'm at the point now where I don't watch them live, Smackdown specifically. I'll wait to hear what happened, and then I'll go check it out.
Well, I always accuse AEW of doing this, and since they did it in the WWE, I have to call them out on it also. We love Ilya. Ilya is great, right? We were digging Ilya. So Ilya comes to the ring for a U.S. title match, his open challenge, and they're going to give it to this Nathan Frazier character with his masked partner, Axiom. And I thought at first they were going to swerve it, and I was going to like it because Ciampa came out, blew right past those guys, got in the ring and said, "You can't be serious. You're going to give this nerd," pointing to Frazier, a shot at the U.S. title. And I'm like, okay, Ciampa and Gargano are heels now in this universe somewhere. And I'm like, okay, I love to see Ciampa and Ilya. Let's do this because Frazier does look like a random UPS driver. But then no, Frazier bowed up at Ciampa and Ilya interrupted. The open challenges for everybody, but Nathan Frazier was here first, and he called Tommaso a jackass, and Tommaso left. And then now I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, we're going to have this match where they're going to do the same thing they do in AEW. This guy with no body, no tan, no charisma, no personality, a bad haircut, is going to be competitive with Ilya, the new U.S. champion, who can hang toe-to-toe with Gunther. And, well, 19 minutes later, including 2 3-minute breaks, they were still going. And, boy, they were having a barn burner with this oil salesman, whatever the fuck he is. And then, again, another thing, nobody's learning from Ibushi and Alexander. They go to do a deal where Nathan Frazier is going to the top leg. He's going to moonsault off backwards. And Ilya is supposed to grab him and German him off. But they tried forever to set it up. And then at one point that Ilya was ready for it, but Frazier wasn't. So Frazier stopped him. Ilya got down, got back up. Then they go to do it. And their timing was off, and they fell in a heap, and Frazier almost landed on his fucking head. And Ilya covered him 2 count. I think, Jesus. And then Ilya powerbombed him and hit his forearm finish, 1, 2, 3. So the last minute of the match is supposed to be one of the most exciting minutes of the entire match, if not the most. And all these guys are doing something where they have to be almost stationary for a minute or longer to set up one bump for a 3-second pop, and it's not even the finish. And then Ciampa came out and leveled Frazier, and here came Gargano, and Axiom got involved, and they all fought to the back. But, Rod, do you see what I mean about? They're trying to... They spend a minute trying to set up 3 seconds of pop instead of tearing the house down for a minute and getting a pop.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger issue is just you're trying to establish Ilya. You brought up the Gunther matches, great matches. We loved them. I don't presume that the majority of the SmackDown audience saw those matches. You're still establishing him. He just won the belt. My gut would tell me don't put him in a long competitive match with one half of one of the tag teams on the card.
That would just be your gut.
Long competitive match. I mean, just why? How does that help anyone? If you look at the other options against it, have him win quickly over someone. Have him win decisively in 10 minutes, but we go WWE pace. Whatever you want to say. Every other option's better.
Get anybody else on the roster that can do a job for him that is not a wet dish rag. And Frazier does moves, but look at the state of him. Speaking of the state of people, then they had Kent Wilson against Carmelo Hayes. No more needs to be said. At the 9 o'clock hour, it was Refrigerator Jax versus Alexa Bliss. I'm like, my God, 100 pounds against 400 pounds. It looked like Vader against Darlin Dagmar. So we're already an hour, and by the time that's over, an hour, 10, hour and 15 minutes into the show. Then they had a package. Apparently there was a big college football game this weekend in Salt Lake City. And they had the mascots for the Cincinnati Bearcats and the Salt Lake City mascot was a bird. What is their team? The condors, the fucking birds of prey, the vultures, the pterodactyls. What are they?
The Salt Lake City team of what?
Of whatever the fucking football that these mascots are having a wrestling match over.
I don't know. Hold on.
Oh, he's typing it in now. Come on.
The Salt Lake are the real. There's a soccer team. There's no football team in Salt Lake City.
What the college? They had the mascots for they were all through the show. They were pumping this fucking college football confrontation and the belts that the football team has that they've given them, the championship belts.
Oh,
you have no knowledge.
No,
here we go.
Again, this is not the part of the sports world I tend to pay attention to.
You're not up on the Salt Lake City college football teams.
Ahead of the Utah Utes college football matchup.
Wait a minute. These two Utes?
The Utah Utes, ahead of their college football matchup against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Their mascots faced off in the squared circle on SmackDown.
Okay, I can understand what a Bearcat is. And old Corey Graves, he even plug, like in the great tradition of Bearcat Wright, Bearcat Lee. But I know what a
great tradition of Bearcat Lee.
Yeah, yes, right. He said that. What is a Ute?
According to this, it appears to be a bird. Because I'm watching the match right now. Oh my God! I've never seen anyone take a bump like this. What is
that's the
this?
problem.
Was on the show? They aired this?
Yes, they had a package. You missed this. It was like 2 minutes long. A package of the Cincinnati mascot, the Bearcat, in the ring earlier that day with people there, though. But before the actual live show started, obviously they didn't want to leave that to chance. This was heavily edited as it was. And the bird from Salt Lake. And they were doing, and then the bird won with the people's wing. He dropped the elbow like it was not long enough to be an expose because it was so ludicrous, but it was an illustration of how guy's never been in the ring before tries to hit the ropes. It's ugly. It's ugly.
I apologize for not being familiar with the Utah Utes.
Well, you can't control these Utes anymore. They get all hopped up on them marijuana pills. Then they had This Is Smackdown on what's left of national television. Then they had JC Mateo and Tama Tonga with the rest of the other motherfucking Tongans against Shelly and Shaban. Shelly and Sabin, the machine guns, and they had them about a 10-minute match, which the Tongans won, and then all 5 of the Tongans with their faces painted like panda bears tried to get heat on the Guns, but all these heels are on different pages. At one point, one guy just grabbed Saban and shoved him toward the other guy, and the other guy wasn't ready. Saban's like, "What do you want me to do here? What the fuck?" And they can't get heat, and they're not coordinated in a group fashion. And then Phoenix came out, and they stopped him. And then Nakamura came out and made a comeback, and they stopped him. Then after they stopped him, there's 4 baby faces laid out. They just stopped and they played the music and they all stood there. The path of destruction of the Tongans is wading through the undercard. I don't know what the fuck. All righty. Are you ready for the main event segment, Brian? What we've all been waiting for.
I mean, I think it's all been a main event so far, but yeah.
Well, all these matches are main events in any territory in the country. They got 17 minutes left on the air. Nick Aldis is in the ring. He is going to have they got the table, they got the chairs, the contract signing for the World Championship match that is going to take place in 24 hours from the contract signing that's already been advertised for 2 weeks. I know we've established that they're ceremonial, but isn't this a lazy booking again? Oh, it's another reason for them to get out there together and talk to each other.
We've seen more contract signings from both companies in the last 3 years, 4 years than I ever did growing up watching wrestling. It wasn't like a thing all the time.
We've seen more than I ever did in 25 years in wrestling. It either on camera or off. But anyway, we're going to sign the contract for tomorrow's main event on Saturday night's main event. And he introduced Cody. And Cody made his entrance. And 3 minutes later, Cody said, "Happy Halloween" to Salt Lake City. And then Aldis introduced Drew. And Drew made his entrance. He made it in under a minute and a half. He wasn't dicking around. And then this went back and forth, but the whole problem was that Drew didn't want to sign it because the contract was lopsided. Aldis kept trying to talk him into it, but no, Drew's point was if Cody gets disqualified or counted out, he retains the title. If I get disqualified or counted out, Cody retains the title. There's almost no way for me to win. Like it has been for every goddamn match since the dawn. But nevertheless.
But he put it well. I mean, that's the thing.
He did put it well.
When you actually lay it out, you're like, yeah, he's right. He really is at a disadvantage.
He did lay it out where he was, and that's the brilliance of Drew McIntyre, is that he does have a legitimate complaints, but he's such a fucking whiny baby about it in his own way. That's what gets the heat. And Aldis threatens, "I'll just take you out of the match, get somebody else." And Cody just said, "No, what the fuck? Sit down, Drew. I know what you want. You want a match where if I get disqualified, I lose the title. And if I get counted out, I lose the title. And I'm fine with that." And Aldis wasn't sure about it, but Cody was adamant. And that's when Drew signed and he cut the promo on Cody. He's the real American dream. And Cody cut a promo on Drew saying that I walked out to find my own way, but you got fired. And nice guys used to finish last till I showed up, which was good. And then Drew mentioned Cody's daughters, and Cody attacked him, and Drew bailed. And then as Cody was talking to Aldis, Drew came back in and hit the kick on him and powerbombed him through the table. The kick used to it have been enough, but they can't not break a table. And that was the show. And the top guys get 15 minutes to say 3 or 4 or 5 minutes worth of stuff, and they break a table. And, there's some long matches, and yeah.
Is Triple H a creative genius because he gets away with doing less than, right now, less than you should be able to, and they're still doing good business? Or is Triple I don't even know if that's the best way to put it. Is he the lead booker, or is he just the head of the creative group who makes the choices? But
You don't need to have guys taking a million bumps or doing all kinds of dangerous shit to make this show or any of these shows move faster or be more exciting. And they've got a large roster. And if they would expose another 10 guys over a course of a month or two, then they could, instead of Elia and Frazier for 20 minutes, they could have 4 guys for 10 minutes each. They could open up the show, instead of the travelogue and the drone shots and the constant glorification of look where we are. Establish where they are, and then we don't care where you are. Have the announcer stand up at the start of the program with a big fight, and we're here. It's Ali and Frazier in the garden. Start out with a fucking hot match. Even if it's only for 8 minutes, get some action going. Then have your long interview segment. But Jesus Christ, you don't have to play the disco single of everybody's entrance music and it take 5 fucking minutes. Just keep it moving and have more of a sense of
just action,
excitement, and urgency, instead of commercials, infomercial, and travelogue. And look at all our fancy shots. Love the way the show is shot, but don't rely on it as the calling card. That would be my thoughts. I don't know. Am I crazy?
No, I saw someone post something, and I don't remember the exact quote. It was someone in the Cult of Cornette group. It was something like, right now, they're not giving you like hot feuds. They're giving you vibes. You're going there to kind of just be part of the vibe, and, you know which parts you could sing along to. Because at this point, it's not just like it's about a song. It's about, there are various things throughout the night that you can participate in. And it's whether that's because of the way they're booking, or whether the booking, is following that, I don't know. But these shows are not, the more weeks that go by that I don't feel an urge to watch SmackDown, the less likely I am to say, hey, let me change my Friday schedule this week.
and watch SmackDown.
Yeah. And just again, it's about action. There's a lot of Memphis wrestling episodes I loved, where I couldn't even tell you, they were just squash matches. It wasn't like there was a big match. The action wasn't always there. It may have ended up in the ring, but it would start over by the announcers who had credibility. And they would usually start with the baby faces having a conversation, and then shit would happen. Or the heel would come out, and whatever it is, and then one thing would lead to another, all in one episode. Now, Memphis was only 90 minutes. This is a 2-hour show, although with commercials.
And the rest of it around the territory was an hour. But the 90 minutes was still exciting, but the hour was even more, fast moving because you had less time. And even in any territory, you had a limited amount of time. You wanted to get the most out of it. And the squash matches for 3 or 4 minutes, the stars doing all the cool shit that they did to some fucking crash test dummy was entertaining, but you couldn't do it for 10, 12 fucking minutes. It just, the pace of everything was increased. And that's why I don't understand why everybody talks, and Cornette loves the days of 30-minute headlocks. What the I wasn't around for Strangler Lewis. I appreciate him for historical value. I'm not sure anybody should imitate the style today, but where was there a 30-minute headlock in the territory days, especially on television? You know what they didn't have either? 10-minute fucking entrances.
Well, they have certainly decided to go down a road that they're not looking to get off right now. We'll see what happens after the Cena retirement. It feels like everything right now is in a holding pattern. I mean, that's really what it feels like, actually. Raw and SmackDown. It's like a holding pattern.
Well, that's because the air traffic controllers are all pissed off and looking for another job.
That's right.
So they just don't nobody land nothing, just everybody be right there. But that's the thing, Brian, is if you're looking for excitement, well, you can't go to the wrestling show anymore because that's just too much discussion. We need a little less talk and a little more action. You know where you go to have the real hot action go on, Brian? The casino. You go to the casino, things are happening, things are popping. You got Frank Sinatra the Fourth in the lounge singing all the swinging hits, and you got the cigarette girls with the trays around their neck and the voluptuous breastages out hanging all over everything. And you got the prime rib buffet, all you can eat for $2.99.
Well, now you've gone too far. Now you've gone too far.
Well, ptomaine may be included. At the casino, everything's always hopping, and only occasionally do the feds come in and accuse you of counting cards. But let's say you take this to task. You have doubts about this.
Well, again, I don't know if that's the best example to use, but we're not talking about what you're talking about. We're talking about a more
see, the feds can't come into the online virtual casinos. That's the best part about them.
Well, no, first of all, that's
as a
not
matter
the
of
best.
fact, you can be carrying any kind of contraband on your person when you go to the DraftKings casino because they can't search you. I mean, you could be sitting there in your own home with who knows what in your pocket, or potentially your hands in your pocket.
Jim,
playing a little pocket pool.
Jim, sometimes sometimes you get on the road.
Yes.
And sometimes you start going to your location, you realize, I got to make a U-turn and go back and start over. And I think what we want to say is that for everyone out there looking for that casino experience in a fun, practical way on your smartphone, let's say that.
Yes.
DK Casino is there for you.
The only thing that DK Casino will not do is provide the hookers. You've got to actually get on your phone and another type of app.
You can't encourage.
But if you
can't encourage that. That's not right.
Well, you can't have a casino without hookers. They got to be standing by watching you do this. So you have them come over to your house. Just keep an eye on them.
Again, one of the beautiful things about DK Casino, disease-free, nothing to worry about.
Well, you don't have to actually do anything with the hookers. They just got to watch you play. Haven't you seen all these casino movies? There's always a hooker looking over your shoulder. Folks, I'll tell you what, you can turn up the heat with DraftKings Casino, which is the home of cash eruption. That's another thing that happens when hookers are around. Cash erupts all over the place. You can spin the largest collection of cash eruption slots, including new and exclusive Big Bank Breakout. Did you see that movie, Brian? It was a goddamn monogram picture. Big Bank Breakout. It's where the crooks got locked inside the bank vault and they had to break out. And that's where the name has come from now for the DraftKings Casino, because they're going to break you out of the bank with the bank's money in your pocket.
I don't know if this has...
and then they're going to relocate you. They're going to relocate you overseas. You'll get a brand new name and you'll have enough money after they break you out of the... Of course, you've got to get into the bank vault. It's your responsibility, folks, to get into that vault, and then the DraftKings Casino Big Bank Breakout will break you out. Folks, once again, the best thing to do is just try it out and see that everything I'm saying is nearly almost all completely said by me. New players will get 500 spins over 10 days of Tiger Da on your choice of cash eruption slots when you wager $5. Let me say this again with clarity. You're going to get 500 spins over 10 days on your choice of cash eruption slots when you wager $5. And boy, if you've got time even in 10 days that you can spin this thing 500 times, you ought to go out and get you a job. Play classic cash eruption today, then red hot joker or coins and clovers tomorrow. And just be willy-nilly about the whole thing. It's all up to you. Get the app. That's the DraftKings Casino app. Sign up with the code Cornette. That's my name. Don't wear it out. and then start spinning on the home of cash eruption, where cash will erupt all over you in a lava-like fashion, splurting and splooging and slithering all over you. You'll just be buried in money.
Just metaphorically all over the place.
Filthy lucre.
Just lathered in no. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's get serious for a moment here.
Yes, in partnership with DraftKings Casino, we're going to get serious. Go ahead, get serious.
Of course. No, I can't get serious. My face is not cooperating with
Well, you see, folks, when the crown is yours, your face will not cooperate in the place. But you're going to have cash erupting on you. The DraftKings Casino will show you the way. Again, just have hookers looking over your shoulder for good luck, and they can kiss your chips. Because at DraftKings Casino, 500 spins over 10 days on your choice. When you wager $5, it's all up to you. DraftKings, the crown is yours. And you know what I'm going to say next. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly and be 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. Non-withdrawable. Casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days, valid for featured game only, and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends January 4th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Please send oxygen for the announcers or do a pre-recorded spot for your fine advertisers.
Like you used to.
Like you used to, because this commercial may be void when I fucking pass out from oxygen deprivation. Crown's yours, baby.
The crown is yours, and I'm going to give you a second to make sure that your oxygen is yours, Jim. And of course, this has been just such a fantastic show so far. And yet, we haven't even gotten to AEW, but we're all hoping that the air has returned to your lungs. How are you feeling?
Yes, I'm doing fine now. I'm finer than frog's hair and ready to hop is what I'm doing.